Well, one of the things that happens in the day-to-day use, I mean, we use our hose 2 to 3 times a day for the animals. And what happens is we used to use these really long wands for being able to reach into the cages. And we found that we were bending the hoses right here at this end, and it was flexing, and eventually it would fail. And so we went to these shorter ones, and I have to admit we've extended it about 3 times before we end up having the same problem. Now they do make these repairs you can get. It's just a simple little kit that you put into the end and then this clamps on, but I've had about 50-50 luck on these things working because they tend to leak right at the connection here. So we're going to give it another shot, see if we can get it to work, but it's always something you got to do mending here. So I'm going to work on this now and see if I can't get it working. Now, one of the secrets you got to do is you got to clamp it with a crescent wrench. Whoops, sorry. And that allows you to get the screws to engage, but otherwise it's too hard to do by hand. It doesn't really work. One of the big problems I have with these clamp adapters is the hose will get kind of in between that clamping force that you're trying to do, and that kind of restricts how much you can put in there. I mean, how much clamping force you can actually apply, because it's blocking you being able to clamp it completely. But it looks like I've got this all the way down on both sides. So now it's just a matter of trying to turn the hose on and see how much of a leak we get. I'm trying to tell if the leak is coming from the O-ring inside the handle here, or the wand itself, or the actual connection that I just made. But anyway, it's just like a little bitty drip right now, so that's I call that a success. Now, to recap, you start with a blown hose. You'll need a jackknife or some kind of knife, and let me recommend sharpen it first, because rubber is very difficult, and this is actually reinforced with some cord of some kind. It might be fiberglass, I'm not sure. You're going to need a screwdriver, and I use the one where you can change the bit around. So this has a Phillips head on one side and a straight slot on the other. I noticed that the straight slot, you can't get quite as much force, so I use that initially to get it started, and then I finish with the straight slot. And then you're going to need a adjustable wrench to be able to clamp it together, to be able to engage the threads, because otherwise you're not going to be able to do it by hand. But that's all you need for this repair. It's actually fairly simple. And I'm going to put this on a dry part of board here, and then we'll watch and see how much of a leak or anything develops. But the best thing to do is, whenever you use your hose, turn off the water and then relieve the pressure, which means come down here and open up the wand. Or when you go up there to turn it off, leave the wand on here, because it's a long ways up there to where I have to turn it off. So 9 times out of 10 we're not doing that. We're leaving this pressurized, and that's going to make it fail sooner. All right, I've been processing my rabbits as they come available, and I've now got, each one of these bags is close to 6 pounds, and there's 2 rabbits in each bag, so there's 18 per shelf. So there's 36 plus another 10, so that's 46 rabbits. And of course we've been eating on them, so there was about 50. And then my chicken situation, we're starting to work it down a little bit. We're trying to eat about 1 chicken a week, which I probably still have 6 months worth of chicken in here. I wanted to show you, I did get my Coca-Cola things in here, and I've got things pretty well organized. I really like these. These really help a lot for organizing my canned goods. And I wanted to show you that I've got, each one of these hold 8 quart-sized jars. And so this is 16 quart-sized jars of green beans that we just processed those, canned them. And I've got more down here, because this shelf, for whatever reason, I can't stack 3 high, so it's not the same depth as these down here. So I'm probably going to reorganize this a little bit. But I also want to let you know that I took some chili that I had canned back in October, and I cracked one open the other day because I didn't have anything else to eat. And it tastes just like the day I made it. So, I mean, it's a fantastic way to do it. Now, I wanted to say that you know, these quart-sized jars of green beans, the cans you get at the store are like 14 and a half ounces, and so these are 32 ounces, so they're a little more than equivalent to 2 cans each. So I've got 16 there, which is 32 equivalent cans. Plus I have another 8 down here, and some of these we process with onions and also bacon and stuff, so it's a little more complete meal. In fact, I've been thinking that while things are available, it's probably better to do more of the complete meals, because later, for instance, somebody had said, hey, why don't you just can rabbit by itself? Well, in my mind, while I have a garden and things are available at the store, make complete meals, because down the road you may not, let's say in the grand solar minimum, you may not be able to grow your vegetables and stuff outside. So this way you get the full nutrition. It takes up a little bit more space, but you got a complete meal, and again, you can throw it over some rice and stretch it out and everything. So I had bought 40 of these Coca-Cola holders, and there's 8 spots in each one, so that would be 320 canned goods. And I've got a few with some empty spots in them, but they're few and far between. Most of them are full. So I'm well over 300 canned goods, so I'm on my way. I was hoping to double, you know, in the next few months, and so I've only got 80 more that I've got to do to fill up. And I think I'm going to remove everything off the bottom shelves down here, and I'm going to just do all my canned goods on these 2 shelves, keep them as low to the ground. And then I'm also going to put some straps on them. You know, we just had some earthquakes in California. I'm not near California, but we've been known to have a few here. And I think I'm going to do everything I can to kind of protect my food storage. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start doing my rice. I've got 8 bags, 50-pound bags of rice, and I've got some of the beans. I'm probably going to go buy some more of them, but I've got everything I need. I've got all of these 5-gallon buckets. I've got all the Mylar bags. I've got my nitrogen tank. And so the next rainy day, I got a friend coming over. He's got some bagged rice, and he's going to help me, and we're going to do both of ours. But I mean, that's 400 pounds of rice there. Plus I've got all of these dried good foods, and I've got some other things that I want to put in these buckets at the same time. And we'll see how far we get, but it shouldn't take that long a time. But I've got the bag sealers. I've got everything I need. And that's kind of what I have in mind. Just a little bit at a time. You got to just keep knocking it out, keep going at it. It took me a while to get these buckets, because Tractor Supply only carried a few at a time. And so I've got the gamma sealed lids and everything. But remember, the plastic buckets are primarily for keeping rodents and other things out of the food, and then your actual preservation is going to be being in the Mylar bags with the dry nitrogen. And for other things, I actually have the oxygen absorbers as well, but the dry nitrogen will be an excellent way to eliminate any moisture, and then you and even oxygen, because you're putting pure nitrogen in, which is going to, you know, eliminate a lot of the moisture that's in the ambient air. And then I've got the seam sealer over here. It's an impulse seam sealer, and that will seal the bags, totally sealed. And then again, these will be for rodent protection. I don't have a rodent problem, but you never know. Something might sneak in here, and next you know, you got an issue. So you just can't leave things laying around in the bags. And we'll then be fully prepared for whatever comes our way. All right, that's all I can think of right now. I do want to encourage you to pick up things now, because rice is, I think it's less than $17 for a 50-pound bag at Sam's Club right now. And if you break it down into like 1-gallon bags, I mean, a 1-gallon bag of rice will last a long time. And I forgot to say, I also do buy seasoning for my rice. We like yellow rice. I don't like white rice by itself, but if you go ahead and pick up your seasoning and pick it up in bulk, and then you go ahead and seal it at the same time, you're going to be just very happy that you just don't have to eat just plain old white rice. So I'm trying to think of everything that I can. I mean, I got Lipton onion soup seasonings. I've got the yellow rice seasonings. I've got, you know, a bunch of canned goods that I've already got done. I've got a bunch of other seasonings that I can use for When we're cooking rabbit out on the grill, or if we're cooking chicken, that kind of thing. So you're going to have to think of everything. Don't think that you're going to have the opportunity to go to the store. Don't think that you're going to have the money to be able to go to the store and pay the outrageous prices. You need to be doing this ahead. I know my channel talks a lot about precious metals because that's another form of insurance besides having your own food. Growing your own vegetables and everything is going to save you, guaranteed. I'll probably be adding to this, but I just wanted to get that out to you. So I'm sitting down to a meal of chili that I made last October. October 28th, 2018. And it was in this quart-sized jar. This is my second serving that I've made. Now I'm eating this right now. I'm not under duress, but this is homemade. It's fantastic. It's got all the ingredients from my garden, tomatoes and bell peppers and jalapenos. And the only thing I didn't grow myself were these kidney beans and the beef that went in here. This is very nutritious. Now I actually do supplement with tomatoes from my garden. I'll sit here and eat these like apples. And then I also have chips that I got from Sam's Club. These are corn tortilla chips. But in a real shit hit the fan scenario, I would be metering this thing out over like a big old bed of rice and stretching this out where this quart-sized container would probably feed, instead of just me and 2 servings, it'd probably feed 8 people, because you'd stretch it with the rice. That's the way we did it when I was growing up. We'd eat this stuff over rice because we couldn't afford to, eat like this. But right now, I'm enjoying it because I didn't really have anything else to munch on. Right now, I've had beef 2 days in a row. Well, this is another beef thing. I probably should eat some rabbit, but I wanted to finish this jar off and get it cleaned up so I could reuse it again. That's another beautiful thing. You buy those cans in the store and you throw them away. Well, with mason jars, you reuse them. The only thing you got to replace is this lid, the center part of this lid. Dang it, I can't get it out. This thing right here, you just replace this. And those are really inexpensive. So anyways, we got to start thinking differently. You got to start making your own. It takes time though, let me tell you. But I think I said I got probably close to 320 canned goods down there that are complete meals, the majority of them. And I do have a lot of vegetables that I'm now canning myself as well. So think about it. What are you going to do when the stores are empty? Do you have a supply of just regular metal canned goods? Are you willing to invest in the time to make, fully prepared meals that are much more nutritional than the stuff you get from the canned goods? And, also invest in some rice so that you can stretch things, and some beans. You can make this chili without the beans, and then when you're ready to stretch it out, you could actually, involve the beans into the meal and stretch it even further. Right now, this is a meat dense meal. This doesn't have the normal amount of beans that you would do in a normal chili recipe. But this is kind of the way I like it. So anyways, I need you to start thinking about that and maybe changing your behaviors and habits. What are you trying to tell me? I should have turned the flash off. You're driving me crazy. It's not time for lunch yet. You guys need to back away. Back away. Too close. Okay, that's enough. Happy dog. You're pretty happy, aren't you? Yeah, he gets your feet, you're going to get him back, aren't you? Okay, that's enough. You silly boys.
Ooh, he's getting yours, Dougie. He's paying you back for all those times you got his.